Howdy folks, I'm a dyslexic zombie that likes to eat Bryans.
I'm Amber.
And here's some Reddit. Our first letter is titled, Am I the Jerk for Reporting My Date for Stalking His Ex? It's a horror story, folks. It's a horror story. I went on a date with a guy last week. Just the first date out to drinks. And we were joking about being true crime fans and kind of paranoid people in funny little ways. And how one time I climbed onto a table in an Airbnb to find what I thought was a hidden camera with a blinking red light, but ended up just being a ventilation fan. He then told me a story about how he felt like his last girlfriend and now ex and his brother were sleeping together, even though both of them denied it. And he put a GPS tag on her car and confirmed it, but didn't tell them how he had found out. Not good. I was looking in an Airbnb for a hidden camera. I stalked my ex-girlfriend. Wow, that escalated quickly. Well, I was super freaked out hearing that. My story was fairly silly, but his was downright scary. I took out my phone and I quietly started recording the audio, but just acted interested and asked, "So, how did you sneak the tracker off her car after you confronted them?" And he laughed and he said he didn't. He could still see her on the app. I asked if I could see it and he showed me. Like, she's at work right now. I was like, wow, what a workaholic at 7 p.m. And he changed the subject. We ended up talking a little about other things for a little while, and I was looking for a way to get out of the conversation. I texted my mom saying that I was on a date with someone who was scaring me and I needed an excuse to leave that wouldn't make him mad. She called me right away and said that my dad was in the hospital and he was in critical condition, and that she was coming to get me right away. This was complete BS. My mom took me straight to the police station with my audio recording to file a stalking report. And just to let you folks know that OP is in a state that does allow single-sided recording. That was in the comments, so just letting you know. The police took it really seriously. They sent an officer to the girl's workplace, which I knew about because the guy had shown me her location and said that she was at work, to warn her and inspect the car for a tracker. Well, it got back to him ASAP because the girl told my date's brother, who was still dating, that he was stalking her and the police had found a GPS tag on her car. And the brother confronted him and he started blowing up my phone. Luckily, he only had my dating app profile, calling me a narc, saying that he only did it because this girl is going to marry him, and then went behind his back and did his brother, and he had to know, etc. What a great excuse. I had to stalk her and handle this in the most unhealthy way, because why not? If you suspect your partner of cheating, don't stalk them. That's the last thing you want to do. Just break it off. Be like, I don't trust you anymore. I don't believe you. And I'm moving on from the relationship. You don't need to stalk people. I reported his profile to the app and also brought the messages back to the police station to see if I could file for a protective order. Turned out that I couldn't without revealing my full legal name, which I decided not to do since I have a very unique name and he only knew me by my westernized nickname based on my middle name. I also found out that he was arrested later that same night, but I'm feeling a little guilty. Like, of course it was messed up to be still stalking someone. It was messed up to be stalking them in the first place. But I guess I can also kind of see how he would want to know if his brother was sleeping with his girlfriend long term. I also don't have the best view of the police, so I feel a little weird having narked to them. Am I the jerk for having to report him? Alright folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk, 0 on the jerk scale. That was really creepy behavior.
Yeah, I cannot blame OP in this situation. What OP did was heroic, not bad, right? So, yeah, OP, you reported someone who was a dangerous individual, was stalking someone, and they're still stalking them after all of this time? No, this is not right at all. So, I mean, not a healthy way to handle relationships. You dodged a giant bullet. Anyhow, take care and good luck. An Anxious Ravenclaw says, Holy not the jerk, you probably saved that girl's life. This is stalking behavior, and the fact that they arrested him is huge because most stalkers don't get arrested. You did a good thing, feel proud. Like, I was actually really impressed with the police response because a lot of times you hear about these things and it's like red tape upon red tape upon red tape to get someone who's a dangerous person to leave you alone. And Love Dove Bunny says, not the jerk times 1,000. This guy was stalking. That's a crime. This guy is still stalking his ex-girlfriend at work. Why do you think that you did anything wrong? Who knows how often he did this? Seems like he took a great deal of pride in being able to track her at all times. All right, folks, our next letter is titled, Am I the jerk for reporting my son's therapist for sharing private information with his stepdad? No. There's no need to feel like a jerk in that case. I'm a 36-year-old male, and my son, who's 14, dog passed away recently. I signed him up with a therapist because his dog's death has literally left him unable to speak. He's been in therapy for 2 weeks now. Well, 2 days ago, my son called crying, saying that his stepdad punished him by taking his bicycle and selling it for no reason. I was livid. I went to have a word with his stepdad, and he told me that there was a reason, and it was the fact that my son badmouthed them to the therapist and claimed that he treated the dog poorly. I was floored by this. I had an argument with him and asked him how he knew that and told him to prove that my son had said all that. He showed me the text between him and my son's therapist. So basically, the therapist had been giving out private info about a bunch of stuff my son had talked about in therapy. I was even more floored. I went straight to that therapist and we had a huge argument. I told him that I was going to report him after he defended himself, saying that the reason he gave my son's stepdad this info was because of the concern as a parent. I said that I don't care about what the justification was and went on with my report. He tried to talk about how he felt my son's stepdad and his concerns as a parent, so he didn't think he did anything wrong. Well, as a therapist, you have ethical training on this exact thing. There's no question what this therapist did was literally unethical by their board of ethics. My son's mom called after she found out about the report and she blew up at me on the phone, calling me controlling for what I did. I ignored her calls after that, but my own wife thought I made a hasty decision and the real problem was my son's stepdad and not the therapist. Was I in the wrong for reporting him? All right, folks, what do you think, jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk, 0 on the jerk scale. Therapists need to be able to maintain patient confidentiality.
Well, and this shows why patient confidentiality is so important. This kid was going to be continually punished for what he said in a space that he thought was safe.
Right.
He's already having a hard time speaking and talking, and now the therapist is basically causing massive regressions here, right?
Yeah.
This is going to take years of therapy to work out being betrayed by a therapist, right?
Yeah, well, and that's exactly the reason for patient confidentiality is to prevent this sort of retribution because you say things in therapy that you might not say to people's faces because you're trying to work out your issues. And for the therapist to just go behind the son's back and start I mean, he wasn't a danger. Like, that's the one place, like...
Well, yeah. I mean, if the son had been saying and doing things that were actually dangerous and the therapist thought that there was an immediate danger to their life, then a therapist can step in and say, this is a dangerous situation. We need to take action now. There are boards of ethics for these kinds of things, and they clearly violated those ethics.
And it's important that other people not get harmed by this therapist.
Oh, yeah. And this therapist is going to harm other people, and that's the important thing why this person needs to be reported, is they could cause additional harm. And Milk Boy Nuts says, hey, I'm a therapist, and what this therapist did was against the law. Your son was not in danger of hurting himself or someone else. There was nothing helpful that could have come from the therapist telling the stepdad this info, not the jerk. Yeah. All right, folks, I've put you through so much torture today that I have to end on a light one. We had a couple of heavy stories here. Am I the jerk for saying no to my wife dictating what I will wear on our family's Disney trip? We, my wife, 2 sons, 3 and 7, are going to Disneyland for a week. They have some Halloween thing going on there, and we're all dressing up for it. No problem. Then my wife starts getting Disney shirts in the mail for me and her, and I ask, wait, are we all dressing the same every day that we're there? And my wife responds, yes, we're supporting Disney. I told her that I wouldn't do that. There's just something ridiculous to me about a family dressing up alike all the time. It's like, have some autonomy and individuality, for goodness sake. I notice it when she dresses my kids alike. I know some people are all, aw, how cute. Look at them all dressed alike. But to me, it screams of some kind of sad signaling that yes, we're a happy family that enjoys dressing alike. I don't know. What does Reddit think? All right, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
I'm going to say no jerks here.
Yeah, I think that there are definitely different perceptions on these kinds of things. Amber and I have very different points of view on this one, but I don't think either of us are in the wrong here.
Yeah, I'm definitely a lot more like the wife. If I were to go to Disney, I'd be like, hey, Brian, we wouldn't have to dress the same, but we would be Disney bounding as it comes. Okay, Brian, we're Alice and the Mad Hatter today.
So I do think that he does have some valid points here with wanting some autonomy, and I think like there's definitely some compromises here. They don't necessarily have to dress alike every single day. They can pick 1 or 2 days, 1 day, half a day. No, I'm just kidding. They can pick a few days out of their trip and dress up like each other. There's nothing wrong with that. But it doesn't sound like he has a problem with it 1 or 2 times. It sounds like he just doesn't want to do it the whole time that's there. And I think that's a perfectly reasonable place to be at. So, yeah, no jerks here. 0. Goose eggs for everyone. Mm-hmm. Congratulations. I think this is the first goose egg for everyone post since starting back up with the jerk meter. So, congratulations. There's some kind of celebration. Anyhow, take care and good luck. And Peanut Butter Cups 56 says, not the jerk, wearing similar clothing at Disney is actually a great idea so you can find each other. Gives kids something to look for. However, your wife didn't talk to you about it beforehand. It's something that you should talk about. You can compromise and they can dress alike and you don't. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea here. Amber has some tea as well. And we've got some jokes.
What happened when the sardine was late to work?
Well, when the sardine was late to work, they got their pink slip in because that was the last time. That was the final warning. And the sardine was really upset by this because they knew that this was the last warning. The boss has been terrible to them this entire time. In fact, actually, the reason why the sardine was late to work was because the boss came by their house while they were there and slashed the sardine's tires. The sardine didn't know what to do at that point in time. He didn't have any video. He speculated that the boss might have done this, but he couldn't prove it beyond a shadow of a doubt. And so now the sardine has been fired. This poor sardine's wife has left them for the boss of all people, and this is just a horrible situation. I don't even know why this isn't funny, Amber. This isn't a joke. This is just a horrible situation and tragedy. Poor sardine.
Do you want to hear the answer?
Sure.
He got canned.
I mean, I was right. Oh, wow, folks, look, I got the joke right.
Except you couldn't come up with a punchline.
And I got Mega Mint tea here.
On your second guess.
On my second guess. Amber's here to keep me straight, folks. I'm on the straight and narrow. We are being above board here. I got it right, don't worry. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. As you can see, we're still broken. I'm so sorry. I haven't had time yet. It probably won't get fixed until this weekend. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you all have a great day. Happy Tuesday, spelt with a TWO. So, yeah.
Is that because you're the dyslexic zombie still?
No, it's something that Mary writes in the comments. She's like, Happy Tuesday. So that's what day it is. It's the second day of the week. Tuesday. Makes sense to me. It should make sense to you. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.